Alright guys, I'm back with a weekly manga review, and I just got done reading Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. And to start off with Naruto, chapter 587 at 9. Man, this was like some kind of class on Uchiha techniques or something. This was very bizarre. I know they do this a lot to explain techniques, however, I just thought a lot of it was just really in-depth and complicated to explain Izanagi and Izanami, and it just, oh my god. This was the entire chapter, was him explaining this technique, how Izanami was created as a way to stop Izanagi because it would cause Uchihas to get too arrogant, and this was a way to capture them and punish them in a loop, but the loop can be beaten. So this was really just a short chapter. I can sum this up pretty quickly. He puts Kabuto in this technique. Sasuke wants to know why he's helping someone like Kabuto by putting him in a technique he can escape from. And Itachi says that he was once arrogant. He once felt he knew everything. And him and Kabuto are the same. They're both victims of the shinobi world. And he wants to give him a chance. He can beat the jutsu. All he has to do is acknowledge who he really is and give up, essentially, trying to become Orochimaru. So, of course, we see Kabuto still trapped in the jutsu, refusing to give up, and Itachi says that he just wants to give him a chance to acknowledge himself before he died, which is something Itachi did not get. Then we see a man helping another guy, bandaging him up, who's in the war, who was injured, and it's Kabuto's brother from when he was a kid at the orphanage. And he actually is helping the guy, and he says, you know, I hope that after this war is over, the 5 countries can still be friends and get along so that my brother can finally come home from his mission. And he says, my brother Kabuto. And then we see Kabuto still trapped in the jutsu, and Itachi says, now I'm going to stop the Edo Tensei. So that's it. That was the entire chapter. Not the best ever. A lot of complicated explanations. I didn't really care much for this one. I think we all knew what was going on with the Groundhog Day jutsu they did. So this was just kind of unnecessary, I thought. However, I did think it was cool that they showed Kabuto's brother. And next week we'll see how he stops Edo Tensei. So yeah, I think Kabuto is pretty much done for. He is so determined to become Orochimaru, who's never going to stop fighting back. He thinks he's immortal and all-powerful, so he's not going to give up. So he's probably going to be trapped in there forever. Then on to Bleach, chapter 493, Light of Happiness. I did enjoy this chapter. A lot of badass stuff happened. Opie absorbs Aeon, and he actually turns into this half-monster, half-Quincy type deal, transformation, where he actually says that he didn't really want to do this because it would turn his holy wings into a monster. And we see him, and his wings have the eyeballs of Aeon on them. He has some kind of like glow covering his sword, and then his hand is like huge and muscular now, and it's like a giant claw. I thought this was really cool looking. He proceeds to just destroy everybody. Well, he doesn't really destroy everybody. He just absorbs Aeon completely, and he makes him his slave, essentially, is what he calls it. The others, the 2 girls that are left, not Apache, but the other 2, I can't remember their names, they take off, and one of them creates a shield that will disguise their Rietsu, and she protects Oriheim and Chad because she doesn't want them to get absorbed because it's just going to make Opie even stronger. But of course, if he can absorb Rietsu, it doesn't matter how they disguise it, he's going to find them. And he does. He just starts absorbing the entire shield. He starts absorbing their bodies. Oriheim, Chad, he's absorbing their bodies too. You see like blood start to come out of them, and they're powerless against this guy. He is extremely powerful. I mean, all of Hueck Mundo and Soul Society can just be absorbed by him. So then Ichigo attacks him and tries to stop him from killing the others, and that's it. He just hits him with a sword, stuns him, and then we cut to the last scene, which is the leader of the Vandenreich invading Soul Society. Now, back to Ichigo versus Opie. I don't understand this. Unless there's something about Ichigo because he's half like a hybrid, like Aizen told him, unless there's something to do with that, Opie should just be able to absorb him with no problems. It doesn't matter how strong he is. No matter what he attacks him with can all be absorbed. So I'm not sure where they're going to go with this, but Ichigo stopping him should really just delay the inevitable, because Opie should still be able to destroy them next chapter. So I'm looking forward to what happens next. Plus, like I said, at the end of the chapter, the leader of the Vandenreich invades Soul Society. We see some Shinigami talking about the invasion, how it's probably going to be at a gate, and then we hear a guy say, "I don't think so," and then it's him up in the sky, and they're like, "It's okay, there's a barrier, he can't hurt us." And then someone says, "He's already in the barrier." So then we just see these explosions go off, and he says something like, "Wars are so terrible." And that was it. And I was just thinking, man, that was badass. This guy, oh man, if Opie is this strong, who knows what this guy could do? I mean, he should be able to start just absorbing Soul Society, right? I mean, if he has an army of Quincy's, they could just walk through and just absorb everything. Fight's over. So I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen, but I'm definitely interested in it. I enjoyed this chapter. Now on to One Piece 668, Pirate Alliance. A lot of big major stuff happened in this chapter. I've got a page of notes here. But the cover page is Ace and Whitebeard's graves. Luffy and Law are talking about the alliance. Nami tells Luffy not to trust him, and he wants to go after one of the 4 emperors. Luffy asks him which one. He whispers it. We don't see who. So that's going to be a surprise that Oda's going to bring out later. But Luffy hears who he wants to go after and accepts the challenge, or the alliance. So they get back to the base where Chopper, the giant kids are. Usopp, Chopper, everyone, no one wants the alliance. They don't trust Law at all. Luffy says that as long as he has them with him, it's going to be okay, so they agree. Law puts Frankie and Chopper back in their right bodies. However, since Sanji's gone in Nami's body, Nami just gets moved to Sanji's body. Chopper does some comedy here where he's all beaten up when he gets put back in his body because Luffy had to knock out Frankie as Monster Chopper. So Chopper's really pissed off about this, and it led to some good scenes of comedy. Law tells them that they should just leave the kids behind, but Luffy refuses since Chopper and Nami want to save the kids. He wants to save the kids. So he tells Law that if we're in an alliance now, you should help us too. So Law, you know, he wants Luffy's help, so he agrees to do this. He says that the kids are apparently being turned into giants because Caesar wants to create an army of giants to fight Vegapunk and the government. So Law and Chopper are going to go to Caesar's research laboratory, sneak behind his back, and find out what medicine the kids are on to try and help him. They try to tie Chopper to the top of Law's head, which was pretty funny, but he ends up just dangling him from the sword he carries all the time. And he tells the others that they need to handle the samurai situation, and they're not going to be able to take Caesar lightly. They're going to have to fight him, and he has a bounty of 300 million. He has a mass-murdering weapon and has the gas fruit. He actually tells them that anyone who can't clad themselves in haki shouldn't even go near him. So this is going to be a pretty badass fight, I'm thinking. Luffy tells him that he can use haki, Zoro can, Sanji can. So Law tells him that they need to kidnap Caesar to cause confusion. Then after they're done with Caesar, he's going to tell Luffy his full plan, and things are going to start moving really fast, he says. He says, once this happens, there's no going back. So you have to be with me on this, because once we handle Caesar, the whole plan of taking down one of the emperors is going to set in motion. Then we see Caesar's guards. They're fighting the Marines. Smoker in Tashigi's body wants to find a boat to send out their report about Punk Hazard, which Caesar cannot allow, because if they find out what's going on there, his entire scheme is screwed. So we see Caesar summon this giant, makes me think of Dragon Quest, slime monster, just to kill everyone. At first he wanted to just take their bodies to use as experiments, but now he just wants to kill everyone, because he cannot allow his plan to get screwed up. So he summons this giant slime monster from the Fire Island. his phone's ringing. He says it's just some of his centaur minions crying for help. He just doesn't even care about his own men. He doesn't care that they get killed by the slime monster. So this giant, I don't know if it's lava, what it is, but it just gets summoned from the fire island and it's coming towards everybody. And it's probably going to wreak complete havoc. And that was it. That was the end of the chapter. I thought it was a really good chapter. A lot of interesting stuff happened. I want to know who the emperor that Law wants to take down is. And Law is kind of on the fence because he does have an alliance with Caesar also. And he needs something on this island for his plan to work. So this is going to be a great story arc. I can just feel it. A lot of major events are going to happen here, and I'm really excited about this. So I love this chapter also. So that's it, guys. That's the manga reviews for this week. I hope you liked the video. Leave your thoughts on it in the comments below. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.